I've seen too many people rush out and grab a cheap 55-inch panel for their lobby because the price looks good on paper, only to find months later that the colors look washed out, the bezel shows every dent, and the mounting hardware barely holds up under a little traffic. That regret is the exact opposite of what I'm trying to figure out with the Samsung 75-inch commercial UHD signage. Does the premium price actually translate into a smarter buy? Or is it just a bigger version of the same disappointments? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you start looking at a 75-inch screen for a commercial environment, the first question that pops up is, will this fit my space without looking like a clunky billboard? The Samsung model answers that with an ultra-slim 28.5mm depth, which is basically a flat panel you could mount on a wall and almost forget it's there until the content lights up. That kind of thinness is rare in the 75-inch class. Most competitors bulk out to at least 45mm, which forces you to use deeper brackets or custom enclosures. For a corporate reception area where you want a sleek aesthetic, that shallow profile can actually save you money on mounting hardware because you can use standard VESA brackets that line up with the centered holes Samsung has built in. But the visual side of the equation is where the smart claim gets tested. Samsung's dynamic crystal color promises over 1 billion shades, and the quantum processor Lite 4K does a respectable job of upscaling 1080p assets and smoothing out compression artifacts. In practice, I've seen the display handle vibrant brand videos and high-contrast static graphics without the banding you sometimes get on lower-end signage panels. For a retailer that needs to showcase product details and color accuracy, think a fashion boutique displaying runway footage. The color depth feels noticeably richer than a generic 4K panel you'd find on a budget TV. Now, the rating on Amazon sits at 2.8 out of 5 from a modest pool of 13 reviews. That isn't a glowing endorsement, and it tells you there are some real-world pain points. While the spec sheet doesn't list brightness, in a bright atrium you'll likely need supplemental lighting or a higher nit display to avoid washed-out images. The commercial UHD line is designed for indoor use, so if you were hoping to mount it behind glass in an outdoor patio, you might run into glare issues that the ultra-slim design can't mitigate. The processor, while good for upscaling, isn't a full-blown content player. You'll need an external media server or a PC to feed it, which adds to the total cost and introduces another point of failure. Who should actually consider this screen? First, mid-size to large businesses that have a dedicated IT or signage team and can afford a separate media player. Think of a corporate headquarters with a reception that wants a high-impact welcome board, a hotel lobby that cycles through local attractions, or a university that needs a digital wayfinding hub. The 75-inch size gives you enough real estate for multiple video streams side by side, and the slim profile means you can mount it in tight corridors without sacrificing floor space. The 3-year warranty is also a plus for enterprises that want a safety net beyond the typical 1-year commercial guarantee. Who should skip it? Small shops that are looking for a cheap big screen to display a menu board will probably be better off with a 55-inch commercial panel that has higher brightness specs and an integrated media player. The price jump from a 55-inch to 75-inch in this series is steep, and the extra visual real estate might never be fully utilized in a space under 10 feet wide. Home users who are tempted by the commercial badge should also look elsewhere. The lack of smart TV features, the need for external hardware, and the price tag make it a poor fit for a living room or home theater. Let's talk practical strengths. The ultra-thin depth translates to a cleaner installation and reduces the risk of accidental bumps that can happen with deeper, heavier panels. The centered VESA holes simplify alignment, so you don't spend an afternoon fiddling with offset brackets. The dynamic crystal color does deliver the promised depth when you feed it high-quality source material, so brand colors stay true and promotional videos pop. For businesses that already run a content management system, the quantum processor Lite handles scaling and basic color correction without requiring a separate scaler box, which can trim down the rack space you need. On the flip side, the weaknesses become clearer once you step outside the controlled environment. The screen's brightness, while adequate for typical office lighting, can struggle under direct sunlight or bright showroom lighting. There's no built-in storage for playlists, so you're always tethered to a separate player or PC, meaning more cables and a potential point of failure. The price point is high enough that a single faulty unit can impact a small budget significantly, especially if you're only using the display for a single purpose like a menu board. And the relatively low Amazon rating.